Looks like we've got our first callers already joining our Spanish simulcast broadcast. So good evening, everyone, and welcome to this live telephone town hall meeting with residents of Hemet-San Jacinto Valley. Pretty soon we'll be joined by Riverside County Supervisor Ixtien Gutierrez, who's going to be here to provide opening remarks and updates before answering your questions live tonight. So if you have a question in mind, please don't hesitate to press 0 on your phone. Get your question to your operator, and you can either ask your question live or, if you prefer, I can read your question over the air. Just make sure to let your operator know your preference when you press 0 to submit your question tonight. And we do have a lot of you who pre-submitted questions through our web registration page, so thanks to those of you who registered in advance for this event and already submitted questions. Tonight we are calling out to thousands of your neighbors, over 40,000 of your neighbors. And many of you have already registered to be called for these live forums with Supervisor Gutierrez. However, if you received this call and you haven't registered yet, you can visit tthm.com/Riverside. tthm.com/Riverside to sign up for future forums and submit questions in advance. If you'd like to receive email updates from Supervisor Gutierrez, press 7 on your phone, provide us with your email address, and he will keep you updated on all the issues that affect you as Riverside County residents moving forward. Now, Supervisor Gutierrez has invited Riverside County Department of Animal Services Director Mary Martin, Housing and Workforce Solutions Director Heidi Marshall, and Deputy Director Tanya Torno, along with Director Dennis Acuna from Transportation and Land Management, and Riverside County Transportation Commission Executive Director Aaron Hake to discuss critical issues like housing and homelessness, animal services, and transportation. And we will hear from Supervisor Gutierrez and each of our expert guests, and then we'll spend the majority of our forum tonight answering your questions. So again, as you listen to our updates, think about questions you want to submit for Q&A. Once you have a question in mind, press 0, get your question to an operator so that we can put you live on the line to ask it. Or again, if you don't want to go live, let your operator know you want me to read it instead. But either way, if you've got a question for Supervisor Gutierrez and our guests from around Riverside County tonight, press 0 at any time to submit that. We'll also run some surveys that you can vote on using your phone. So even if you don't have questions for the supervisor and his guests tonight, we'd still love to get your feedback through those survey questions. So again, 0 to submit a question. If you want to get email updates from Supervisor Gutierrez, press 7 on your phone to give us your email address. And with all that said, it's my pleasure to hand things off to your county supervisor, Ixtien Gutierrez. Supervisor, please go ahead.
Thank you so much, Ian. I'm glad you're having a great night in all the residents. I appreciate you coming on the call and just listening in to our telephone town hall for the Hemet-San Jacinto area. I'm super excited to hear from all of you. You know that these telephone town halls, they definitely have an amazing turnout, and that's why in our office we continue to have these throughout the year. And what we do is we try to take them in different areas or different regions of the 5th District. Tonight's the Hemet-San Jacinto area, so I'm excited to hear from you all regarding questions related to homelessness, animal services, and transportation. Earlier this year, we did have one in the Pass area, another one in Moreno Valley, and now we are back for another one here in the Hemet-San Jacinto area as well. I'm excited to share some of the projects that we have and services with you. For starters, we launched our District 5 Furry Pets Foster Care Program back in January to help our furry friends at the San Jacinto Valley Animal Campus find temporary and permanent homes, which helps reduce the euthanasia rates. Now, you're probably wondering, okay, what is this furry pet foster program, right? Or how does it help me? Well, this program provides you as residents a stipend of $25 a night for fostering a dog, or up to $50 a night if they foster a pair of dogs or a litter of puppies or kittens. That's a total value of $525 to $1,050 a month if you have the 2 dogs. Plus, if you get the pet adopted in 2 weeks or less, you can receive up to a $150 bonus. And so we're so excited to say that we've actually allocated $265,000 toward this program, and we've been able to help and save 472 animals. Again, we've been able to save 472 animals from euthanasia, and we placed 75 of those in loving homes. This is really an amazing program. I'm so excited about that. Additionally, I'm excited to share with you some of the issues and programs that we're doing to implement in addressing homelessness in the region as well. As you will hear later in the town hall, we awarded $12 million to address homelessness in the San Jacinto River bottom. And with this project, we're actually providing outreach, housing, and wraparound services to folks that are homeless not only in the river bottom, but also within the city of Hemet and San Jacinto as well. We've served a total of 399 individuals and gotten 180 individuals housing. That's a 76% housing success rate. Truly excited about that as well. Also, because of food insecurity and costs for many residents in the Hemet-San Jacinto area and throughout the 5th District, we've allocated $90,000 to implement 36 food drives, produce food drives. And that's 22,000 pounds of produce that we deliver at each food drive, 22,000 pounds. That comes out to a total of 792,000 pounds of nutritious food for our residents. So again, it's about empowering people to take control of their health through access to healthy foods and education on healthy eating habits. Nuevo and San Jacinto will have a monthly distribution for 6 months, and Banning and Cabazon will have a monthly distribution for 12 months. We've had already a total of 6 distributions, 1 in Nuevo, 1 in Banning, 1 in San Jacinto, and 3 in Cabazon. And our most recent one was actually just yesterday, which I was there as well, and many more on the way. We've also partnered with the Hemet Fire Department and the City of Hemet for many youth programs, and also the City of San Jacinto, one of them being our Cadets program. Students ages 16 to 24 can participate in the Hemet Cadet program. Also, we have the Youth Core program, where we actually help place students in county and city departments, and we also provide them a stipend as well for that. And we have the Youth Employment program, where if we have students that want to work like in a private or retail business, we can also do that as well. And we have our Deputy Director, Stephanie Adams, here as well, that can share some of those things as well. I'm really excited to work on a Justice System Symposium, and that's going to be in the City of Hemet on December 17. And so if you are interested in helping with reentry or helping our young people and reducing the recidivism rate and figuring out different programs and innovative ways to help those and provide a second chance, we do have the Justice Symposium on December 17th at the Hemet Library. If you'd like to get more information, you can go to our website at rivcodistrict5.org as well. As you can see, there's so many programs, and I can keep going on and on, but I definitely want to hear from you all, and I really want to hear your concerns and needs, and that's why we do these telephone town halls. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it back over to Ian, and let's take our first callers.
Sure thing. Thank you again, Supervisor, and thank you everybody who's joined us tonight. And we've already got some questions in the queue, but if you have one that you'd like to submit, you can go ahead and press 0 on your phone at any time. We've got a lot of guest speakers here, happy to answer your questions. So we're going to go to our first question, and this was submitted by one of our web registrants. It's from Gail in San Jacinto, who's asking, when the county reopened San Jacinto Animal Services 2 years ago, delivery of a second county mobile spay-neuter clinic for larger pets described as soon. What happened to that service? Weight limits still in event for small pets. Looking for an update on veterinarian recruitment, and is having trouble getting TNR appointments in San Jacinto. She was referred to Jurupa Valley. Imagine driving commute time to pick it up that. So she's looking for just an update on animal services on that San Jacinto Animal Services from 2 years ago, if you have one.
No, thank you, Ian. And definitely it is a concern if you do have to commute that far to drop off the animals and pick them up for scheduled surgery all the way to Jurupa, right? Especially if we have one right here in our hometown of San Jacinto. What I can share with you is that our Department of Animal Services does operate 2 buses that go out into the community. So that's good news to perform limited free spay and neuter surgery and wellness clinics for owned pets. We are also working on an event. We don't have the date yet where we can do several spay and neuters all at one time, and where it's not limited to just weight, right? I think sometimes the mobile clinics, there is that weight limit, but the one that we're working on is going to be an event where we'll be able to do a lot of spay and neuters and be able to really make an impact there. But I would like to turn it over to, because that raises a good question, I think, Mary, is in regards to if you can kind of provide that little update on the veterinarian and what we're doing there in that situation.
Absolutely, and I'd like to say to Ian, too, if I could get Gail's contact information, this is a person Gail's a person I would like to follow up with, because there's a ton of good stuff happening on the vet front. We've had great success in hiring per diem surgeons, high quality, high volume spay-neuter surgeons. We are now at 14 people, but the onboarding process takes a bit of time. These are mostly surgeons that are successful in other states we have partnered with an organization called Loving All Animals to bring these vets to the Valley. Loving All Animals is paying for their licensing fees and their travel, and we've already seen the first 3 come in, one from Arizona, one from Texas. We've got another one coming from New Mexico, and 2 more from Arizona very soon. So I think, although it still feels like it's slow, we're going to see an exponential growth in the availability of spay-neuter in the coming months. But I would love to talk to Gail further about this.
Sure.
Because we do now actually have Dr. Sarah at San Jacinto 4 days a week, so that availability should be better. And so if you're having difficulty, I would like to know about it directly.
No, thank you so much. And Mary, quick question. Are there any organizations that we partner with, any pet organizations?
Well, actually, we're partnering with more and more every day. I think you're referring to mostly Animal Samaritans as one of our great partners in the Coachella Valley, but we're now partnering with a shelter, actually, I beg your pardon, a clinic in Anza, and we have other clinics coming on board that we will be using as in a voucher kind of system.
Got it.
Where people can be referred to them, but we would be paying the bill.
Wonderful.
So we're looking at every way possible that we can bring the services to the community, because we know they're so needed.
No, absolutely. And this is one of the reasons why we did want to open the San Jacinto animal shelters, because we did see that as a need 2 years ago. Many residents were saying they would have to drive to Jurupa or Coachella to look for their lost pet, and that was a major issue. So I'm glad that we now have it open, and now we're fine-tuning several of these programs. And Gail, we'll make sure that we reach out to you to address any of the other specific questions. Ian?
Absolutely. Yeah, I've got that. Mary, I've got Gail flagged for follow-up, and we'll make sure we get you her phone number so you can follow up with her. Let's go to, we're going to talk about, I believe we're going to go to a question on homelessness next. And this one's going to come to us from Nathan in Hemet, who's asking, how can the county motivate or assist Hemet to deal with homelessness by addressing the underlying mental health crisis that we're experiencing? And Supervisor, again, that's from Nathan in Hemet.
No, thank you, Nathan, for that question. I think you're right on. Addressing mental health is a major thing, but I'll go even a step further. I think making sure that we're addressing housing, that we're addressing outreach, we're addressing mitigation efforts, and also employment opportunities, I think is very important, in addition to the mental health and wraparound. So we do have our director, actually, from Housing Workforce Solutions here, and I'd like to ask Heidi if maybe, Heidi, you would like to address this question as well.
Absolutely. Thank you, Supervisor. And earlier you shared with the audience that we received and approved a $12 million investment, and one of those key partners is the City of Hemet. And so, Mr. Church, I want you to know that the city has been an incredible partner to the county with regard to not just addressing the underlying behavioral health issues, but homelessness as a whole. There's 2 things that I would point out to you, and I would want to make sure that I share with you, and that is that there is a contract with a provider called Healthcare in Action. It is a street medicine provider, and they coordinate behavioral and physical health services to support those individuals who are homeless, both in the cities of Hemet as well as San Jacinto. And then the other news that I wanted to make sure you're aware of is that we are also working with the city of Hemet on building an affordable housing development that will bring a total of 157 units that will be available to provide that much needed affordable housing in that area for people who are facing these types of hardships.
No, thank you so much, Heidi, for that. And one of the things I wanted to add is I know as a county we also have 50 mobile crisis teams that go out through RUHS Behavioral Health as well. And so one of the things that we do is if you know someone that is homeless, you can reach out to our office or call a specific number. And then what we'll do is we'll reach out to RUHS Behavioral Health, and then we send out that crisis team specifically to that area.
All right. Thank you so much, Supervisor. And we've got our next question coming to you from Nat in Hemet, and then we'll be running our first survey question for our audience. Nat is asking, is the county doing anything to stop the Hemet Rise group from Hemet annexation of Via Vista and other 3 unincorporated communities into the city? That's from Nat in Hemet, Supervisor.
All right. Thank you, Nat, for that question. Appreciate you calling in with a specific question. And I am aware of the proposal for annexation. And I can just share with you that as of today, we have not received an application it has to go through a process with LAFCO. That's the actual agency that will review that application. And then they determine, whether it can be annexed or not. So please make sure that you follow our social media and that you follow our website, rivcodistrict5.org, and also the city of Hemet as well for any more updates on that. But as of right now, it hasn't been submitted to LAFCO as an agency, but we'll definitely be looking at that as well. So thank you for that question.
All right, thank you again. And let's go ahead and run our first survey question as promised. And we really appreciate this feedback for those of you who want to vote in our polls. We want to know what service categories are most important to you. Press 1 if it's public safety. Press 2 if it's transportation. 3 if it's health and human services. 4 if it's homelessness. And 5 if it's economic development. So again, what service categories are most important to you? Press 1 if it's public safety, 2 if it's transportation, 3 if it's health and human services, 4 if it's homelessness, and 5 if it's economic development. Really appreciate that feedback from you, and keep submitting those questions. We do appreciate it. And if you want to get email updates from Supervisor Gutierrez moving forward, press 7. Give us your best email address so that we can keep you updated in the future. All right, we're going on to our next question here. This comes to us from Jeannie in San Jacinto asking, after driving from San Jacinto to and back again, our roads are a mess. Will many of these be resurfaced before the 28 Olympics? They should have taken care of this for our commuters. The hardship on tires is tremendous and not a cheap fix for anyone. So Supervisor Jeannie here is looking to talk transportation and road quality, if you have someone who can take that one on.
Okay, so the question is on what are you doing to make? Oh, go ahead, Dennis.
I think the question was regarding just the overall resurfacing of projects. Sorry, you cut off on there.
Yeah, can you repeat the question again?
Yeah, sure. So Jeannie's question was, after driving from San Jacinto to and back again from various places, our roads are a mess. Will many of these be resurfaced before the 28 Olympics?
Oh, that's a great question. What we can do is find out. I know the city of San Jacinto I just attended their State of the City, and they are working on improving many of the roads there. We've also allocated some funding to San Jacinto and Hemet on State Road and also, I believe, Stetson as well. And so we'll definitely keep an eye on that as well. I did want to share that we've also, which is really near San Jacinto, the Gilman Springs area, we've invested over $20 million to the Gilman Springs Road Safety Improvement Project, and that's going to improve the area a lot. I do have Dennis here. Dennis, can you share a little bit, what phase are we at with the Gilman Springs project?
Yes, of course. So, Dennis, Director of Transportation here. We recently completed Phase 6 of the Gilman Springs Safety Project. That was a passing lane and widening wildlife crossing. That project is now completed, and along with that was a center median that was a curb median that was installed between Alessandro and approximately Bridge Street. And that was done to emulate what we did on Ramona Expressway to increase safety along the roadway. There are several more phases as we move forward that we're looking at funding. So Phase 7 would be to complete this median all the way to 79, and then Phase 8 would be the 4-lane widening of Gilman Springs between 79 and the State Route 60, which is, I would say, 6 to 8 years out, depending on funding, environmental, and so forth, for Gilman Springs Road Supervisor.
Okay, no, thank you, Dennis. And then one other thing I just wanted to add, Jeannie, as well, that every city, even the county, has what we call a capital improvement plan, where it's like a 5-year plan where we put the list of roads that we want to actually fix. So if you know of specific roads in Hemet, we need your help too. That's what I would say here. So our office will reach out to kind of see what are those specific roads, and then we would be happy to relay that to San Jacinto and also see, if it's in their capital improvement plan. And a lot of times, all it really takes is just a resident to ask and to request that it be placed in their capital improvement plan. And depending on the need, right, and how the pavement management index score, they will move that up or down depending on the need. Thank you.
All right. Thank you again. Appreciate you. And most folks have been happy to have me read their questions, but Sandra in Hemet is looking to go live with their questions. So let's bring Sandra live. Hey, Sandra, thanks for waiting. You're live with Supervisor Gutierrez and the rest of our crew. What's your question?
Hi, everybody. I'm glad to be here. I am a disabled senior citizen, and I ride Dollar Ride. And Dollar Ride purchased some little bitty buses that they pick up people on the ramp. And when I put my scooter in there, my scooter is big, and I can't, and it's hard to maneuver. And I was wondering, why would they buy something that only can carry one person at a time? And that is really, really unsafe.
No, thank you. Thank you, Sandra. I'm sorry to hear that. I do have our Riverside County Transportation Commission Director, Aaron Haig. Aaron, would you be able to take that question?
Yeah. Sandra, thanks for raising this concern. I'm sorry you're having this issue. We definitely want to address it. The good news is you called the right place. The Riverside County Transportation Commission, we have what we call an ADA coordinator, Americans with Disabilities Act coordinator, where we take comments like this and issues like this from individuals such as yourself who are looking to use public transportation to get around. And what we'll do is we will put you in touch and work with you and the agency that operates that service, which is most likely the Riverside Transit Agency in your area, and make sure that your issues and needs are addressed there. So I'm going to give you right now the phone number to call tomorrow in the morning, where we'll do exactly that for you. It's 951-787-7141. Again, 951-787-7141, and that is the phone number to RCTC. And you need to either ask for me, Aaron Hake, or if I'm not available, our ADA coordinator is David Knudsen, Knudsen, and we will get you in touch.
Great. Thank you so much, Aaron, for that information. And our office will also follow up with her as well, and yourself too.
Thank you.
So really appreciate that question, Sandra. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Appreciate you, Sandra. And we've got our next one coming to us from Nancy in San Jacinto, who's asking, I want to know what resources are being directed towards San Jacinto and Hemet specifically, and what percentage of the overall allocation for District 5 is going to our cities. We need a lot more resources to address the homelessness in both San Jacinto and Hemet. There are young families that cannot enjoy the public areas such as parks because of the homeless population. Please allocate more resources and funds in San Jacinto and Hemet so that we can continue to grow and thrive as a community. And Supervisor, again, that came from Nancy in San Jacinto.
All right. Well, thank you, Nancy, for calling in and sharing that question. One thing that I can share with you is that I've also seen the need as well since I was elected 3 years ago. And I've really worked with our department heads that address homelessness, our HWS office, our RUHS behavioral health, to really allocate more funding towards that area. So I am happy to say that about 20% of the funding does go to the Hemet-San Jacinto area, and we're continuing to do more. In fact, we received a $12 million grant that has allowed us to provide housing, which is, sheltering, street outreach. And I do actually have our director, and I would love for her to share a little bit more information about some of the things that we're actually doing there in Hemet-San Jacinto.
Absolutely, Supervisor. Earlier you also shared some of these statistics, but with regard to homelessness, through that $12 million investment, we've already connected 180 individuals into permanent housing units. These are folks who were either in an encampment or were literally living out in the streets of Hemet or San Jacinto. The goal is to house 60 more individuals. That is what the funding was set aside for. I want you to know that 30 encampments have been cleared so far, and individuals who were in those encampments have been moving into permanent housing opportunities as well. I also want to point out that in addition to these programs, we've also been very intentional at ensuring that we prevent additional families from moving into homelessness, and that is through a similar allocation of our rental assistance program as well. So Hemet gets about an equitable share, about 11% of the total county's allocation, because that is the number of individuals who have applied for rental assistance. And so 11% of those applications equal 11% of the allocation that was set aside to help them as well.
No, thank you so much for that insight, Heidi. And I know one of the other things that we do is going out to the city, right, of Hemet and San Jacinto, and I think the funding also allocates street outreach as well, right?
That's correct. Some of the resources that we received as part of the $12 million grant go directly to both cities, which they use to fund mainly street outreach teams. As an example, the city of San Jacinto contracts out with CityNet, a local nonprofit provider who knows the region well, is out on the streets, and the city of Hemet has a dedicated homeless coordinator who is also on the ground. And we definitely appreciate the feedback surrounding the parks. We also want to make sure that we can connect with families who are there and are in need of housing and services, but that the larger community can continue to take advantage of those and take their families there and feel safe. So know that we will be reaching out to the multidisciplinary teams, both cities and counties, to alert them of your feedback, Nancy, and we'll provide a targeted approach to address that issue.
No, thank you. And that's definitely what we'll do is our office will be reaching out to you, Nancy, just to really hear from you the specific parks and the specific areas. Because if we know those areas, then we can target our street outreach teams to those areas, or our mobile crisis teams as well. Thank you.
All right, thanks again to both of you, and appreciate that last question coming from Nancy. We'll go to Linnell and San Jacinto in a moment. We've got our second survey question for you first here. We want to know, what projects would you like the county to prioritize? Press 1 if it's beautification projects. Press 2 if it's affordable housing projects. Press 3 if it's road improvement projects, and press 4 if it's something else. So again, what projects would you like the county to prioritize? Press 1 for beautification, 2 for affordable housing, 3 for road improvement projects, and 4 for something else. And sticking to the topic of supporting the unhoused, it looks like Linnell and San Jacinto, you run a center that does exactly that, and you'd like to ask some questions. Welcome to the forum, and thanks for being with us.
Thank you very, very much. My name is Linnell Holden from AGTF Institute, and we're opening up an independent housing a home. And we just wanted to know, besides CityNet, what other entities should we be reaching out to let them know that we have available beds?
No, that's a great question. Thank you. It's Linnell? Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, thank you for calling in. I appreciate it. And I would just say, and I do have Heidi here as well, but I would probably say RUHS Behavioral Health, and we'll get you their contact information, and also our Continuum of Care office as well. But I don't know, Heidi or Tanya, is there any office that you recommend?
Yes, thank you, Supervisor. And Linnell, thank you so much for doing the work that you are doing and for adding beds. As you know, housing needs continue to escalate, and so it's crucial to have people like you offering this service. I would recommend that you place a phone call to our Home Connect line so that you make them aware of the beds that you have available. That telephone number is 1-800-498-8847. Again, that's 1-800-498-8847. Thank you again.
Great. No, that's a great question. I really appreciate that question, Linnell.
Yeah, thanks again to both of you. Appreciate you, Linnell. Thanks again for being a part of our forum. And folks, if you miss any of these phone numbers that have been mentioned, you can press 7, speak to one of our operators, and get it from them. Remember, you can still press 0 to submit a question for Q&A, and you can also press 7 to get email updates if you'd like to get email updates from the supervisor. Now, let's go to Javier in Hemet, who submitted this question in advance, a web registrant, asking, I heard you were turning away stray cats. Why do you turn away stray cats? Can someone take that one on for us from Javier in Hemet, supervisor?
Well, that's a great question. Thank you, Javier, for reaching out and letting us know about that. I'm not aware that we do turn away the stray cats, but just to confirm, I do have our Director of Animal Services, Mary. Are we doing that, or can you kind of provide some insight towards that question?
Absolutely. Thank you, Supervisor, and thank you, Javier, for a good question. It's a difficult question. In so many things in animal welfare, there's no perfect answers. But what we know, back in 2023, this organization euthanized 7,000 cats, and the reason that happened is that people were bringing cats to us like crazy, and what we know statistically is that people often don't come looking for their cats because they allow them to free roam. And so the best practices nationally now are to not accept healthy stray cats. We accept injured, ill, and the most vulnerable, so underage kittens, things like that. Seniors we will take, but generally speaking, we don't take in healthy stray cats. Having said that, I think it's our responsibility to ensure those cats have access to spay-neuter, because that is the real problem, are the offspring of those kitties. They may be people's kitties, but if they're not being spayed and neutered, then that creates more problems. Mm-hmm. So that's what we're focused on, is, again, developing those spay-neuter programs and access to those services. But that is the reason nationally that shelters do not accept healthy stray cats. If we know that the kitty does not have a home, its owner is leaving and can't keep the cat, that's a different matter. But thank you again for the question, and I'm happy to follow up if Javier would like to.
No, thank you so much, Mary, for providing that response. And one thing I just want to put in a plug in for folks is that if you are willing to foster a pet, or a stray animal, please look into that. That does help clear our shelters. Like I mentioned, we've been able to save about 400 pets from euthanasia just from the foster care program that we have, where we pay the $25 a night for one animal and then $50 a night for 2 dogs.
Thank you again. Much appreciated. Thank you, Javier. We'll be going to James live from San Jacinto next. James,
hi there,
welcome
James.
to the call.
Hi, this is James. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thank you, James, for calling in.
That's good. I'm on disability, and my income no longer covers my monthly expenses, and there's a good chance that I may end up losing my home. What can I do? Who can I turn to help me raise money to keep from becoming homeless?
No, thank you, sir, for calling in, and sorry to hear that as well. We have many different programs in our county, so I'm glad that you called in. And what we'll do is we'll definitely research many of these programs and reach back out to you. But I don't know if Tanya or Heidi, you want to share a little bit about some of our county agencies and what we could do. And also, I know we have programs even through folks that are in the Office of Aging, right? If they're 60 and above, right, as well?
Yes, thank you, Supervisor. James, I'm really sorry to hear that you're struggling like this. One quick question for you. Are you renting this home or do you own this property?
So he's already back in the listening audience, but I do have him flagged for follow-up so that you can follow back up with him.
And thank you so much, Ian. What I would say is if you are renting the property for which you are calling and you are at risk of homelessness, then I would encourage you to call our Home Connect line as well, because we can connect you to all of the resources that the supervisor was discussing and referencing. That number again is 1-800-498-8847. If you own the home, I would start with a phone call directly to your bank to make sure that if they have programs available, that you make yourself available to, or that they make themselves available to you. I know that California also has a mortgage relief program, and I would encourage you to get in touch with them as well. Another avenue would be to call 211, because we do have a very close partnership with our United Way folks who run that service. So I wish you the best, James, and please let us know how we can assist.
And what we'll do too, James, is when you call those numbers, what's really nice is they'll look at a variety of other programs for you. So if you're 60 and above, then there's a lot of programs with Office on Aging, or if you have a disability, like you mentioned, there's other programs that are accessible for folks. So we'll definitely take a look at that, and we have your contact information, so we'll be following up. But like Heidi mentioned, calling the Home Connect, if you could do that right away, that would be great as well. Thank you, Heidi.
Yeah, appreciate you. Thank you, Heidi. Thank you, Supervisor, and thanks for being a part of our forum there, James. We're going to go right to another live question here coming to us from, let me get Yvette up here next. Hey, Yvette, thank you for waiting.
Hi, yes, my name is Yvette Sullivan, and I live in Hemet.
This call is no longer being recorded.
And I live in Hemet, and I'm wondering about the homeless for clothes. My husband and I have a lot of clothes, and we want to donate it for the homeless, but we don't know where to take them to. And we was wondering if there's a place where we can take our clothes to that we can donate for the homeless, because what we do is we just drive around the streets and pass clothes out and pass food out, and we just don't know what else to do.
No, well, thank you, Yvette. I really appreciate you thinking of the folks that are unhoused and how you can help them. And I think that's very, very special of you to do that. Tanya, can you address that question, if you don't mind?
Absolutely. Thank you again for your call. I wanted to share with you that the county partners with Valley Restart Center. They are an emergency shelter, but also provide housing assistance and other street outreach opportunities in the city of Hemet and throughout the region. And they have programs that directly support seniors, both male and female, but also families with children. And so I know that they're always looking for donations, both in the form of clothing and food. So I wanted to provide you with their contact information. They can be reached at 951-766-7476. Again, that number is 951-766-7476, and their address is 200 East Menlo Avenue in Hemet. And again, I know that they would be extra gracious to receive clothing to support the families that are in their care.
No, thank you, Tanya, because I think if you partner with that organization, they don't sell those clothes, right? Like, they don't make a profit out of it. They actually give it back to the unhoused for free, and I think that's probably what she wants to do too, so that's great.
Perfect. Thank you all again. And we're going to go right to our next live question from Iris, and then we'll run another survey question for you folks and get some more feedback from you. Hey, Iris in Hemet, welcome.
Okay, hi, how are you? I have a multifold question, so I'm just going to get to the point. Okay. So, my first little question was I overheard somebody talking about Gilman Springs, and so this was a question that came up while I'm listening. Is it right now? I know that there's a passing lane, so that was created, and it looks like they made it permanent by the fences that they're putting on the sides. So I was just wondering if I heard correctly, if they're actually going to make it two lanes in each direction. But my bigger original questions were as far as the animals. One, I wanted to know if there is progress, or what is the progress towards making the animal shelters no kill, like putting something into place to make them no kill. And the $25, does that cover food and medical as well, or is food and medical on top of the 25? And then also, I'm part of the Green Coalition of San Jacinto Valley, and we're really against warehouses. So I don't know if anybody can address the warehouse situation, and like trying to prevent warehouses. And also, what about as far as the homeless, bringing in tiny homes to the area?
Okay, thank you. I'm going to try to address all the questions. Hopefully I don't forget one. But if I do forget one, my team is going to make sure to follow up. In terms of, let's start with the animals. I can share with you that we do want to be a no-kill, where we're making progress towards that, a no-kill shelter. And I believe your question specifically was about the animal food and veterinary care if you do decide to foster, right? And so the good news is that you get the $25 a night every night that you foster, but we also provide you with some food in the beginning, and then we also provide you with veterinary care. So like, let's say you foster a little dog, and unfortunately, he's struggling, you can actually bring him in, and our veterinarians, free of charge, will take care of him, and then you can continue to foster. I believe you guys are going to have to help me. What was the first question? Oh, the Gilman Springs. Yes, Gilman Springs. So, Dennis, can you address the Gilman Springs?
Yes. So the improvements that are for now, the ultimate is to get 4 lanes, 2 lanes in each direction. So we kicked off a study, and we're looking for future improvements to 4 lanes. So it will stay 2 lanes with the passing lanes for the foreseeable future, but we are looking at what point to widen to 4 lanes. So that is a future project.
Okay, and then I believe her last question was about warehouses, and I could just share with you, I'm very cognizant of that and very respectful of what people, want in their communities, especially folks that live in rural communities. Sometimes they don't want warehouses. I can share with you that if it's within the city, so if it's in the limits of the city of Hemet or in the limits of the city of San Jacinto, it's actually out of my hands. It's the city council in each of those respective cities that vote on those projects. But I would just encourage you to reach out to those council members of each of those cities and just become involved and active and going to their meetings and sharing with them your concerns. And if I've left out any other question, then...
There was one on tiny homes, Supervisor. And so what I would say, Iris, is I want to reassure you that the way that we provide our assistance, it is through the lens of providing a whole continuum of care for families. And our focus has always been permanent supportive housing and assisting our families to become economically self-reliant. So while there have been some interest in tiny homes, the vast majority of our focus has been on building apartments as well as single-family units. So I want to reassure you that it takes all kinds of housing to provide all kinds of options for families who are homeless. But thank you for the question.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate you both. Thank you so much. And we're going to go to another survey question next here. Then we'll have a question from Mary in San Jacinto. Our third question for you is this. What programs would you like to see most? Press 1 if it's employment programs. Press 2 if it's youth programs. Press 3 if it's homeless programs, and press 4 if it's home ownership programs. So again, what programs would you like to see most as far as newer programs? Press 1 for employment programs, 2 for youth programs, 3 for homeless programs, and 4 for home ownership programs. Go ahead and vote on that, and I'll remind you here that we are still, if you want to give us your email address, you can press 7. We had a big queue of folks waiting, but we just cleared that out. So if you want to give us your email address to get updates on all of these topics from Supervisor Gutierrez, press 7 on your phone. And if you need a phone number repeated, you can press 7 for that as well. We'll go into Mary in San Jacinto next, who's asking, what are you doing to help folks who rely on SNAP benefits? We are hurting and we need help now. That's from Mary, Supervisor.
All right. Well, thank you, Mary, for that question. And we've actually heard from many residents. In fact, our office was called many times because it did affect many individuals. In fact, about 247,000 residents of the 2.5 million residents were affected because of the SNAP stoppage. And that translated to 33% of the folks that are on SNAP actually came from the 5th district, so 33%. We actually had the largest percentage of all the districts. And so because of that, and not knowing, how long the shutdown would take or whatnot, we took it in our own hands and we decided to do several produce food drives, and we're doing 36 of those food drives. And even though the shutdown has opened back up, we're continuing to do those 36 food drives to help many residents. And so we do understand about, the food insecurity, and it is a concern, but that's why we're doing many of those food drives. And I'm glad to say that because the federal government has been opened up, that's released the funding for many of the other, for example, the CalFresh funding and many of the other programs that residents are receiving. But we continue to monitor this, and we have folks that work in the executive office that continue to advocate on behalf of the county with our federal partners in ensuring that the government continues to stay open.
Thank you again. Appreciate you, Supervisor. And we'll go to Brian in Hemet next, who's asking, the roads throughout Valle Vista are awful. How do we get them fixed? That's from Brian in Hemet asking about the roads in Valle Vista.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Brian, for that question. I do have our Director of Transportation to address that question, but I can tell you that the good news is that on Tuesday, I believe it was, which was a couple of days ago, we did approve about $3.3 million. So it's a great question that you have to address the roads in Valle Vista. So it was, I believe, about $3.3 million, Dennis. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. It was about $3.5 million.
Oh, $3.5.
To resurface a couple roadways in Valle Vista, New Chicago Avenue, and the big one was Ramona Expressway. And the segment was very specific between Lake Street and State Highway 74. So that brings in more infrastructure maintenance dollars to this area on top of projects that we have under construction. Right now we have Acacia Avenue under construction resurfacing, and we just finished up Thornton Avenue over the summer. So there is many projects in the area that are moving forward to improve the infrastructure in the area.
Oh, thank you. And one other thing, if I could also add to that, Dennis, is if you know of any specific roads, again, we have a capital improvement plan where we list all of our roads, of which roads we want to update. So I'd be happy to hear from you which specific roads and see how we can speed up that process for those roads too. But definitely want to hear from you on those specific roads. Thanks, Brian.
Thank you again. Appreciate you both. Thank you. And we'll go to Mr. Daniels in Hemet next, who's asked me to read this one. He says, I drive home almost every night, and because the striping on Warren between Ramona Expressway and Devonshire is really horrendous, driving at night can be dangerous. Can they restripe that to make it safer? It's a 2-lane highway, so it's pretty important. He's talking about Warren between Ramona Expressway and Devonshire.
No, thank you so much, Mr. Daniels, for that question. I know many things that we're trying to do in Ramona Expressway. We just, about a couple of years ago, maybe 3 years ago, we put the median in the temporary median, and we do want to make sure that when we do the Mid-County Parkway, we expand it, and that's a future project. But I do have Dennis. And maybe Dennis, if you could address that specific question, and then maybe Aaron, you can share a little bit about the Mid-County project as well.
Okay, so for the first question on Warren Road, unfortunately that location is in the city of San Jacinto, so we can get your contact information. We can forward that over to the city. But typically, you can contact us. We do have a maintenance hotline I can give out. It's 951-955-6800. If you call there, ask for Dennis or Hector, and you can submit any kind of maintenance request for striping signs, and that will be taken care of. So that helps us. You guys can be the ears and eyes in the field to let us know what needs to be done. So for sure, Warren Road, we will reach out to the city to request that.
Thank you. And I know, Mr. Daniels, that has been a major issue, the Ramona Expressway, and we've had many, many collisions. And so I'm going to ask Aaron if you could just share a little bit about what we're trying to do there to eventually have what we're calling a Mid-County Parkway project.
Yep, absolutely, Supervisor, and thank you, Mr. Daniels, for the question. Supervisor's right. The county made a big step forward with adding that median to Ramona Expressway a few years ago, and I have very good news that within the next few months you'll be seeing construction start on the next phase of the Mid-County Parkway, which will add a median barrier and actually widen Ramona Expressway and make it much safer and much easier to drive for everyone out there. This is an area where we've had 14 fatalities between 2017 and 2022. So we're very concerned about safety in this area. This project, it'll take a little while to build, so we're going to ask you to bear with us on construction. But I'm looking forward to seeing that happen, so we'll prevent people from crossing over.
Yes.
So please follow us at RCTC on social media. We'll have construction updates so you can see the progress.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Aaron, for providing that response. Appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. Daniels.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Daniels. We did flag you for follow-up, and thanks again to everybody who's participated. We've got about 8 minutes left, time for another survey question and another question from our audience. But I did want to remind you, this is your last chance to sign up for email updates from the supervisor by pressing 7, or if you need a phone number or website repeated for you, press 7 here before the end. Our next survey question for you, and our last, is what is the most important issue that you see facing the county? Press 1 if it's homelessness, 2 if it's animal services, 3 if it's public safety, 4 if it's the cost of living, and 5 if it's warehouses. So again, what is the most important issue that you see the county facing right now? Press 1 if it's homelessness, 2 for animal services, 3 for public safety, 4 for the cost of living, 5 for warehouses. Go ahead and vote now, and while you do that, we're going to get Leandra up from San Jacinto up next. Leandra, thank you for waiting. Go ahead with your question for us.
Hello, hi. My name is Leandra. I'm from San Jacinto. I'm calling in regards to the homelessness. I know earlier was mentioned about how Riverside County, you guys are connected with an outreach resource team. And so I'm wondering how to get connected with Riverside County if I want to be part of like an outreach team as a nonprofit to connect with you guys to serve that community.
Well, thank you so much, Leandra. You know, it's so nice when we hear from the community of folks that want to help out, and I really appreciate it for that. Tanya, I know that we have many opportunities for folks to volunteer. She's asked that question specifically about, you know, our outreach teams. Is there a way that maybe she could do that? And then I also know if you can also touch on the point in time count when we have that, and how maybe she could also help with that too.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your interest in wanting to be a partner in helping us address homelessness across Hemet and San Jacinto Valley, I wanted to share with you and invite you to join our Homeless Continuum of Care. This is a network made up of many individuals, many advocates, nonprofit and faith-based community partners, as well as county departments who come together regularly. We have monthly meetings where we discuss homeless issues across the county, and we plan our responses, we share resources, and so we're always looking for new partners in this effort. It truly takes a village. The first place to start would be to send us an email, and I'm going to give you the email address where you could contact us to begin that process. It is coc@rivco.org. Again, that's coc@rib.co.org. And as soon as we receive your email, we will get you plugged in. We'll provide you with a membership application and then begin to send out our monthly meeting appointments so you can get plugged in.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Tanya, for providing that information, and hopefully that was very helpful, and we hope to hear from you so we can get you plugged into that.
Alrighty, thank you again, and appreciate that answer. We are running a little low on time, a few minutes left here, Supervisor, for you and any of your guests who want to offer any closing comments. I am seeing a few of you waiting to have one of our operators repeat some information for you, give us your email address. We'll try to get to all of you before the end, but if we don't, and you just need to leave a voicemail message for the supervisor and you need somebody to get back to you, stay on the call until the end of this forum in a few minutes here, and when we wrap up, you'll automatically go to our voicemail system. You can leave a voicemail if you just want to share your thoughts, or if you need some sort of assistance for the supervisor's office, just stay on the line, leave those messages, and if you need somebody to call you back, make sure you leave your name and your phone number. And with that, Supervisor Gutierrez, I'll turn it over to you to take us to the close.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Ian. I really appreciate you hosting this telephone town hall for us in the Hemet-San Jacinto area. Just want to thank all the residents of the Hemet-San Jacinto community for taking your time tonight, your busy schedules, to engage with us, ask the hard questions, and how we can be of help, the County of Riverside, for the Hemet-San Jacinto area. I'm very passionate about the Hemet-San Jacinto area. I truly believe that we need to do more, and we are continuing to do more in addressing homelessness, in addressing transportation issues, and also public safety. And so I truly value your input as we work together to address those issues that matter so much to our community. And I just want you to remember that you do play a key role in shaping our community's future. So continue voicing your questions, continuing to come to these telephone town halls or any of our municipal advisory council meetings, or even your Hemet or your San Jacinto council meetings as well. We would definitely appreciate that as well, because your feedback is very, very important to us. For those that didn't get a chance to speak or ask questions, please don't worry. Please feel free to reach out to my office. Also, if you did ask your question to the operator and we didn't get to your question, we will actually follow up with you. And then if you did ask your question, we will still follow up with you, because we want to make sure that we close the loop, that we're not just putting you and connecting you to a department and then it goes in a black hole, right? So we want to make sure that we close the loop. So we're going to continue to follow up with you. And remember that we're here to serve you and we'd love to hear from you. Thank you again, and I'm really hoping that you have a happy, safe, and wonderful Thanksgiving, and I appreciate you all for chiming in.
Thank you again, Supervisor. And folks, stay on the line to leave those voicemail messages, or if you need additional assistance or just want to share your thoughts, we appreciate you. And if you need to leave your email address to get email updates moving forward, you can stay on the line to do that in the voicemail as well. Appreciate the Supervisor and everybody else for following up and for running this forum and inviting everybody tonight. Thank you, everybody, so much. We appreciate you. Have a great night.